In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome, my dear students, with you, Mr. Hatim, and today we are going to have another part of our lesson. C. Work with a partner, ask and answer questions about people's habits and routines. Work with a partner, ask and answer questions about people's habits and routines. For example, A. What does Adnan normally? This is Adnan. First of all, this is Adnan. What does Adnan normally do in the evening? What does Adnan normally do in the evening? What can you see? What's he doing? Yes, he is studying. So the answer is he usually studies. He usually studies. Okay? There are some keywords given. Through these words, we have formed this question. What does Adnan normally do in the evening? He usually studies. Let's see what can we do with these pictures. 1. Kel generally for lunch, and 2. Faris and Ali, Emma. Let's see. Okay. Number 1. Kale generally for lunch. What is the question that we can form from these keywords? What does? Let's see. Yeah. What does Kale generally, or what does Kyle generally eat or have for lunch? What does Kyle generally eat or have for lunch? We have some keywords like Kyle, his name, generally for lunch. From these words we formed this question. What does Kale generally eat, or what does Kale generally have for lunch? What can we see in this picture? Yes, he generally eats or has a burger and a soda for lunch. This is burger and this is soda. He generally eats a burger and a soda for lunch. He generally has a burger and a soda for lunch. Number 2. Faris and Ali occasionally from time to time in the park. Faris and Ali. What is the question here that we can form? Let's see together. What do? Why here we put does and here we put do? Right, excellent. Because it's here singular, just one person, but here they are two persons, plural, and with singular we put does, with plural we put do. So what do Faris and Ali occasionally do in the park? What do Faris and Ali occasionally do in the park? What does Faris and Ali occasionally do in the park? Faris and Ali occasionally play tennis in the park. Faris and Ali occasionally before the verb. Okay, occasionally here is before the verb. Okay, Faris and Ali occasionally play tennis in the park. Faris and Ali play tennis in the park occasionally. Do you remember we say that some adverbs can come before the verb? They also can come at the end of the sentence. So Faris and Ali occasionally play tennis in the park is right. Other one, Faris and Ali play tennis in the park occasionally, also right. Let's see another one. Emma seldom after dinner. Emma seldom after dinner. Let's see. What does Emma seldom do after dinner? What does Emma seldom do after dinner? What does Emma seldom do after dinner? Emma seldom does the dishes after the dinner, or Emma seldom washes the dishes after dinner. Okay? Number 4, Ellie and his parents. Ellie and his parents often on the weekend. On the weekend. What do Ellie and his parents often do on the weekend? What does Ellie and his parents often do on the weekend? Ellie and his parents often go to the park on the weekend. Ellie and his parents often go to the park on the weekend. Okay. After that, Ismail sometimes with his friends. Ismail sometimes with his friends. These are the keywords with us. The question is, what does Ismail sometimes do with his friends? What does Ismail sometimes do with his friends? Ismail sometimes goes bowling with his friends. Ismail sometimes goes bowling with his friends. Okay. Ben, now and then, from time to time, from time to time, once in a while. What does Ben do now and then? What does Ben do now and then? From time to time. What does Ben do now and then? Ben gets a haircut now and then. Ben gets a haircut now and then. Okay. After that, let's see another exercise. It's an exercise for you. Let's see. How often do you do the activities in exercise C? How often do you do the activities in exercise Exercise C. These activities, having for lunch, in the park, after dinner, the activities. Write about yourself. How often do you do the activities in exercise C? Write sentences using an adverb or expression of frequency. Compare sentences in small groups. For example, I normally get a haircut every 2 months. This is an expression of frequency. Okay? Every 2 months. I normally get a haircut every 2 months. For this example, I normally get a haircut every 2 months. A. Write sentences about things you usually or always do and you seldom, never, or never do. Write sentences about things you usually or always do and you never or seldom do. Write at least 2 false sentences. Read them to your partner. Can you compare? Guess which sentences are true and which sentences are false. For example, I usually hang out with my friends at the mall. I never watch TV on the weekend. These are examples. Someone wrote these sentences about himself. The first one was true and the second one was false. All what you need to do here in these 6 sentences or these 6 points is to write sentences about yourself using always or usually or seldom or never. Okay? Generally use something or adverb of frequency or expression of frequency. Use an adverb or expression of frequency in your sentence. Then write the sentence here and let your partner or your friend answer. Write something about yourself and let your friend answer it. For example, you can write, I usually play football on the weekend. I usually play football in the weekend. And let a friend answer. He knows much. He knows too many things about you. He will say if it's true or if it is false. So what you need to do here, write sentences about yourself and let your friend, a friend who knows you very well, to answer if it's true or false. Okay? Let's move to another part. Language and context. Work with a partner. Look at the picture of Tom's room. What can you tell about his lifestyle? This is Tom's room, and you can guess how is his lifestyle or his life like. Okay? For example, he usually does his homework on the computer. This is computer because he paused his homework. He usually does his homework on the computer. He likes football. Yes, here we have a picture of a footballer, so I can say that he likes football. Another thing, he plays computer games. He plays computer games. Okay. He plays tennis. Yeah, he have here a racket and a bag of tennis. He has a trophy. He has a trophy. We can see this champion, this trophy for him. He sends text messages. He sends text messages. Okay. He likes tennis a lot. He likes tennis a lot. He has two pictures of tennis and he has a racket and tennis bag. So these are the things that we can tell about Tom or Tom's lifestyle from the picture of his room. Okay. Listening. Let's listen together to the step script and then come and answer.
Football changed my life. It's given me everything I have. For a poor boy from Nigeria to the stadiums in Holland and Russia, I've come a long way. But a professional football player's life isn't easy. I often train for 6 to 8 hours a day, and when there are major competitions, you sometimes don't see your family for days. The other players become like a second family. We spend a lot of time together. The competition is tough. There are plenty of good football players out there, and the career of a professional football player is very short. Most professionals usually stop playing before they turn 30. But there are many benefits too. For me, the greatest thrill of all is when I play for my country. You can become a hero overnight, especially if you score a goal in a big match. Of course, I get a lot of money for playing and from advertising. I hardly ever spend any money on clothes and shoes. I get those for free from sponsors. I like to dress well, but I also give quite a lot to charity. I like being famous, but you lose your privacy. You can't go anywhere without the paparazzi following you. I hate that.
Okay, well, listen one time. Let's listen one more time to make everything clear. Let's listen together, but carefully and focus this time.
Football changed my life. It's given me everything I have. For a poor boy from Nigeria to the stadiums in Holland and Russia, I've come a long way. But a professional football player's life isn't easy. I often train for 6 to 8 hours a day, and when there are major competitions, you sometimes don't see your family for days. The other players become like a second family. We spend a lot of time together. The competition is tough. There are plenty of good football players out there, and the career of a professional football player is very short. Most professionals usually stop playing before they turn 30. But there are many benefits too. For me, the greatest thrill of all is when I play for my country. You can become a hero overnight, especially if you score a goal in a big match. Of course, I get a lot of money for playing and from advertising. I hardly ever spend any money on clothes and shoes. I get those for free from sponsors. I like to dress well, but I also give quite a lot to charity. I like being famous, but you lose your privacy. You can't go anywhere without the paparazzi following you. I hate that.
Okay, let's start answering. Number 1. Musa comes from a poor background. Musa comes from a poor background. True or false? Right, it's true. Number 2. He spends a lot of time with his family. He spends a lot of time with his family. Right or false, or true or false? Yes, it's false because he cannot spend a lot of time with his family. So number 1 is true and number 2 is false. Number 3. Musa is proud of playing for his country. Musa is proud of playing for his country. True or false? Right, it's true. Of course, he's proud of playing for his country. He said that the most beautiful moments in his life when he played for his country. Okay, for his national team. Number 4. He likes to wear fashionable clothes. He likes to wear fashionable clothes. It's true, right. He gives money to help those in need. He gives money to help those in need. True or false? Yes, it's true also. Musa doesn't like the media following him. He said at the end of his speech that he hates that thing. So Musa doesn't like the media following him? Yes, he doesn't like the media following him. So it's true. So number 1 true, 2 false, 3 true, 4 true, 5 true, and 6 also is true. So my dear students, that was our lesson today. Hope to see you again in another parts or in another lessons. Goodbye.